What if a massive commercial jet carrying 239 people simply vanished into thin air? No distress call, no trace, just gone. This isn't a movie plot, this happened. This is the real story of Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370. And to this day, no one knows exactly what happened. Was it a hijacking, a cover-up, a tragic accident, or something more sinister? Stick around, because what you're about to hear is one of the greatest aviation mysteries of the 21st century. On March 8, 2014, Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370 took off from Kuala Lumpur at 12:41 a.m., bound for Beijing. The aircraft? A Boeing 777-200ER, one of the safest, most reliable jets in the sky. On board were 227 passengers and 12 crew members from 14 different countries. Families, business people, students, vacationers, ordinary lives on an ordinary flight. But less than an hour into the journey, something went terribly wrong. At 1:21 a.m., just as MH370 was about to pass from Malaysian to Vietnamese airspace, it vanished from radar. Not just civilian radar, military radar too. No mayday, no signal, no explanation. The last voice transmission? Good night, Malaysian 370. Spoken calmly, almost eerily so. Within hours, panic set in. MH370 was declared missing. The search began, first over the South China Sea, where the plane was last seen. But days passed. Nothing. Then came the first twist. Malaysian military radar showed that MH370 had actually turned around, veered off course, and flew west across the Malay Peninsula. Someone had deliberately reprogrammed the plane's flight path. From there, satellite data revealed something even stranger. The plane had flown for another 6 hours over the Indian Ocean. But to where? No one knew. The search zone shifted thousands of miles to a vast remote stretch of ocean west of Australia. An international effort began. 26 countries, 60 ships, 50 aircraft, the largest and most expensive search in aviation history, and still nothing. As months passed with no answers, theories flooded in. Theory number 1. The pilot did it. Let's start with the one that haunts people the most. What if the disappearance was intentional by the captain himself? Captain Zari Ahmed Shah was a respected pilot with over 18,000 flying hours. But after the incident, he came under intense scrutiny. Why? Because investigators found something chilling in his home, a personal flight simulator. On it, he had simulated a route eerily similar to the one MH370 is believed to have taken, veering far off course and ending deep in the southern Indian Ocean. To some, this was more than coincidence. It looked like a trial run. Was this a meticulously planned murder-suicide? Friends and colleagues described Zahari as calm and professional. There was no known political motive, no suicide note, and no history of mental health issues that were made public. His family strongly denied any wrongdoing. Still, the simulator data raised eyebrows. It suggested someone knew exactly what they were doing and how to avoid radar detection for hours. But the biggest problem with this theory? No clear motive was ever found. Theory number 2. Hijacking. Another leading theory is hijacking. It's not unheard of. Planes have been taken over before. But this one is different. First off, no terrorist group ever claimed responsibility. That's extremely unusual. In most hijackings, the group wants to be known. They want leverage. They want media attention. But in MH370's case, silence. Then there's the flight path. After contact was lost, the plane didn't just crash. It flew on for up to 6 more hours. That suggests someone highly skilled was at the controls. Why would hijackers fly aimlessly over the Indian Ocean? Where were they going? Why never make demands? Some suggest it was an attempted reroute gone wrong, or a botched hijack where the crew was incapacitated, and the plane eventually ran out of fuel. But again, there's no concrete evidence. No passengers with suspicious backgrounds, no messages, no radar interception. It remains a theory built more on possibility than proof. Theory number 3, U.S. military involvement, the Diego Garcia theory. This one takes a darker, more conspiratorial turn. According to some theorists, MH370 may have been shot down either accidentally or deliberately by a military force. The most commonly cited suspect, the United States, specifically the Diego Garcia military base, located in the Indian Ocean. This theory claims the plane was approaching restricted airspace, possibly due to a hijacking, and was taken down to prevent a threat. Then, to avoid international outrage, the truth was covered up. Proponents of this theory argue that a plane the size of a Boeing 777 couldn't just vanish in today's age of surveillance and satellite tracking, unless someone made sure it did. However, there's a glaring problem: no real evidence. The US government has denied any involvement. No satellite data, debris, or radar logs point to Diego Garcia, and it's worth noting that the military base is extremely secure. Any contact with MH370 would likely have left a trace. But nothing surfaced. Still, in the absence of solid answers, this theory lives on in the shadowy corners of the internet. Theory number 4. Mechanical or electrical failure. Could MH370 have suffered a fire, a sudden decompression, or a total electrical systems failure? This could explain the sudden loss of communication. A fire might have taken out key systems, leaving the crew unconscious or unable to send a distress signal. In the case of hypoxia, lack of oxygen, everyone on board could have become incapacitated, while the plane continued on autopilot until it ran out of fuel and crashed into the ocean. This happened in 1999 with a private Learjet carrying Gulfer Payne Stewart. A pressurization failure knocked out the crew, and the plane flew on for hours before crashing. But here's the strange part with MH370. There were manual course changes. Someone turned the plane sharply off course, navigated around air traffic corridors, and flew undetected. Autopilot doesn't do that. A malfunction doesn't explain that. It suggests that someone, either the pilot or someone else in the cockpit, was consciously steering the plane, at least for a while. So while a mechanical failure could have played a role, it doesn't fully explain what we know. Then, more than a year later, hope of answers flickered. July 2015, a piece of a plane wing called a flaperon washed ashore on Reunion Island off the coast of Africa. Over the next few years, 20-plus pieces of suspected MH370 debris were found scattered across Indian Ocean coastlines in Tanzania, Madagascar, Mozambique. The conclusion: MH370 crashed into the ocean. But how? Why? Where? The main wreckage and the black box remains missing. In 2017, the official search was called off. A US company, Ocean Infinity, launched a private mission in 2018 using advanced underwater drones, but found nothing. To this day, the fate of MH370 remains officially unsolved. For the families of the victims, the pain is endless. 239 souls vanished, and the world is still waiting for closure. How does a modern jetliner disappear in an age of satellites and global surveillance? Maybe MH370 holds secrets we're not meant to know. Maybe one day we'll find the wreckage and the truth. Until then, it remains one of the darkest, most enduring mysteries of our time. If this story gave you chills, hit the like button and subscribe for more true mysteries that defy explanation. Comment below. What do you think happened to MH370?